What's up, everybody? I'm Damon Hatfield. This is Greg Miller.
Hi.
Greg reviewed Prototype 2 for IGN. Some people agreed with his review, some people didn't. It happens.
It does.
But sometimes we like to do what we call a comment comeback, where Greg sort of dives into the comments, sort of picks out some of his favorites.
I put on my flip-flops, my little scuba mask, and I dive into those comments, and I go, what you doing down here, folks?
And then he responds to you directly, our dear readers, who we love so much.
Thank you for leaving comments.
So, Greg, if you don't mind, let's get right to this. Prototype 2, what we're talking about. IGN reader Extreme Gamer 3377 says, "Oh, typical IGN and Greg Miller. For months, act as if this game is the hypest shit. Then once a release day comes along, tear it a new one. Some things never change."
Well, Extreme Gamer, I'm sorry you feel that way about IGN as a whole. I'm glad you still come to the site. I'm glad you still comment on stuff. Like I said in the review, Prototype is fun. I said it's forgettable fun, right? Like I say, tearing things in half is cool, slicing arms off is neat, sucking things in, flying. I liked Prototype. I gave it a 7, which on the IGN scale is good. And for me, its scores are always more about the word I'm assigning to it than the fact that it's a 7.
The Extreme Gamer seems concerned that we were hyping it before launch, but I don't know that we really did that with Prototype 2. Did we ever come out and say this is going to be the greatest game of all time?
No, not to my knowledge. I did. I mean, I think it's actually an interesting thing about, like, I've done pretty much all the Prototype coverage for us, or the majority of it. And when I wrote about it, I said that I was excited for it because of the story, because of the fact that in Prototype 1, you're Alex Mercer and you run around, and I didn't ever feel like a connection or a motivation for what he was doing. And when they showed the early trailer of James Heller losing his family, and that's why he was out for revenge, is because his wife and his kid were taken away from him and killed by this virus. It was like, okay, I can get behind that. That totally makes sense to me. And then when I sat down to play that all washed away really quickly, and you were left with just a regular old action game, which, as I've said, is fun, it's good, but it wasn't what I was looking for. That's the real thing. I don't remember ever saying this game for sure is going to be the greatest thing of all time, but
it's also probably worth mentioning that we want every game to be great. Right?
Totally, yeah.
Like, that would be awesome for us. So we're usually hopeful about games.
Yeah.
Like, we're hoping that this game turns out really well. So maybe you're reading our hopefulness as us hyping it, but it's not totally the case, I don't think. This is C-Jail.
C-Jail?
Yeah.
Okay.
C.Jail.
C.Jail.
It says, not all experiences has to be memorable, everlasting, perfection. Sometimes having fun with a super powerful mutant is good enough.
Yep. Good enough. 7.0, like, I mean, that's the whole point.
I guess we agree there.
Exactly, that's the whole point. And maybe he was defending me. Maybe we were just putting a spin on his comment. But I mean, that's totally the point of where I came from with Prototype. I mean, the fact of the matter is, right, $60 is $60. You can't just go around throwing that around unless you're Damon Hatfield money. So, I want you to know when you're getting into a game what I thought of it, especially if I thought it was forgettable fun. I mean, I think it's forgettable fun. It was totally fun for a while. Yeah, FF for short if you're out in the streets. But that's the whole thing. How much time do you want to invest?
I'm looking for that FF, man.
Man, I got
find my next
man,
FF.
I got 30 minutes before this Avengers film. I need some FF right now, man.
This is Super Calivamp.
Expialidocious.
He says, here's my take on the game, and yes, I've played it.
Cool.
Heller is someone who has lost everything. When he comes back, he finds his wife and daughter dead. Imagine how you would feel. You would be pissed off, that's putting it lightly, at the person responsible. I think the cursing was and is necessary to show how angry he is.
Super Calivamp. No, I understand where you're coming from. If you haven't read the review, ladies and gentlemen, you're just watching this video, my main knock against it was that when like I said, I was all totally into Heller and his wife, the story that they had going on. So yes, Heller obviously should be angry when he comes out of this. He should be enraged that his family is killed. But like when he's sitting there cursing at a computer, like,
there's no fucking off. I got a fucking squiggly line key. I got a fucking key with a triangle on it.
And so then you just get this dialogue that, I mean, like, let's be serious here, it's ham-fisted. I get mad and I curse too. Like, there's ranges of emotions. They call them the 7 stages of grief and everything, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, there should be some variance to this character, if that's what you're saying. There'd be, for sure, these really, really angry moments, but then there should be these really, really somber moments. You can't have the sweet without the sour, and that's the whole thing I was looking for. I think, as a medium, video games need to push forward storytelling.
That was deep.
Thank you.
That's good. This is Warpig 323. With all due respect, Greg, I think you reviewed this game too harshly. In my opinion, I think the graphics has mostly improved from the last Prototype, and giving it a low score in the graphics section because of a few outdated animations is not fair. And I don't think a single generic character can bring down the presentation of the story either.
Okay. Thank you, first off, I mean, this is a totally intelligent response. You point out here, that I was too hard on this game and that they've improved from the last Prototype. I agree with you. Graphics have improved since the last Prototype. And here's the thing that'll, set off all the comments in this video, Damon. Prototype 2 is a better game than the original Prototype. The original Prototype on IGN scored a 7.5. 7.5, and then I gave Prototype 2 a 7. And the reasoning there being, of course, I didn't review the original Prototype, so maybe my score would have been different. But then years have passed since then. You know, games don't exist in a vacuum. We always talk about this, right? That
always.
It's one of those things where right now what we would give a 9, maybe it won't be a 9 in a year. Things evolve, and so that's what the whole thing was here. You know what I mean? That I wasn't judging this against only Prototype. I'm judging this against third-person action games, what's happening on the market right now, how does this fit in? And so that's where the fact that the graphics are better, but they're still not great, that's where all that comes into play. It's not strictly, oh, well, this, you know, Prototype 1 was a 7.5, so now I'm starting at a base 7.5, and I can only go up from there, you know what I mean? Yeah. Unless they screw something up. That we can't review that way.
What about the generic character bringing down your presentation score?
Well, yeah, you say that, you know, a presentation for us at IGN encompasses everything of the game. It's kind of one of those like loose parts of our review schedule where you can kind of put whatever you want in there if you need to. You could bitch about the manual, you could bitch about the menu, you can bitch about the story. And so I chose the story here, and one character can totally ruin a story when that character is you. That character is the main character of that game. That character is on screen the entirety of the game. And so if I have this character who's on this entire time, who is generic, who isn't believable, who's kind of annoying and grating at times, that is totally going to hamper the entire experience of it and make for the story not, you know, to pan out the way it should.
One more comment here from Mega Templar. He says, the review seems fair. I'm still going to buy it because I liked the first one.
Perfect. See, that's all I ever ask for in a review, right? Like, this is the funny thing about internet comments, and for the mean people on internet comments, is like, if I was like, hey Damon, what did you think of Captain America? And Damon's like,
I didn't care for it.
Fuck you stupid fucker! Fucking, like, you don't do that. That's not how you have a conversation with somebody.
I really didn't care for it.
I liked it. I didn't love it, but it was. Anyways, the whole point of this is that we are there to be your lab rat. We're there to be your best friend. We are there just somebody you can talk to about games. So if I sit there and say, oh man, I didn't like Prototype for this reason and that reason, but I had fun with it. You know, I said it's fun and it's good. I want you to read that review. And if you're like me, and you like, because I would play this game based on the review I gave it. I like, it's forgettable fun, sure. It's an easy platinum trophy, 1,000 trophies, sure. Or achievements. 1,000 trophies. But it's one of those things you read through it and like, you're not getting to the score and see, even if it was a 6, even if it was a 7, even if it was a 9, even if it was a 4, you read the review in the text and you say, oh, you're right, he's annoyed by this and those things annoy me, or he's annoyed by that and that never bothers me. Great. I always want you to go to the store, buy a game, and have my review in your head telling you one way or the other what to expect. That's all it is. If I give a game a 4.5 and you go out and you buy that game and you love it, great. Yeah. All I was doing was trying to give you my take on it and what I did or didn't like about it. That's it.
Thanks, Ray.
No problem, Dave.
Thank you to everyone who commented on the review, read the review. But let's keep the conversation going. That's what IGN is, a giant conversation about video games with people who love them. So comments on our articles, we always go in there, we read what you guys have to say. We like to respond back when we can. Follow us on Twitter, yeah, and all that good stuff. And for all of your Prototype 2 and video game needs, keep it locked right here to IGN.com.